part 2 of the resurrection egg story, or the resurrection story through the eggs, okay? So we had already done several of the eggs. We just talked about the leather rope that they beat Jesus with, okay? Now we're going to get to this egg. And this egg is a crown of thorns. Let me get it to where y'all can see it. Can you see that, the crown of thorns? And so they mocked Jesus. They made fun of him. And they made this crown for him like he was a king. And they made fun of him and said, "Oh, you the king of the Jews. Hail the king of the Jews." And they put this on his head, but it has thorns and stuff on it. So they put it on his head and put, the thorns were going into his head. And it's very painful. But they did it to mock Jesus or to make fun of him. And so that's what we were talking about with the crown of thorns. Okay? Now the next one is they stripped him of his garments. And the Bible talks about, prophecy talks about in the Old Testament about how they'll cast lots for his garments and they'll split up his garments. Well, before we get to that point, we're going to talk about the nails. So when they stripped him of his garments, they put the nails through his hands, right? Put the nails through his hands. They stripped him of his garments and they put the nails through his hands and they nailed him on the cross. So then they cast lots for his garments, and so basically that's like a lottery or like it's like a lottery or gambling. Okay, so they rolled dice to see who was going to get his garment. Okay, and that was part of the fulfillment of the prophecy that Jesus said that they would do. So they did that. Then after Jesus had already died on the cross, but the soldiers were going by to see if the people that were on the cross, because remember there were 3 on the cross. There were the 2 thieves and Jesus. And they were going around to see if their legs were broke yet, or if they died yet. If they hadn't died, they were going to break their legs. But Jesus had already died on the cross, so he didn't need his legs broken. But when the soldiers came and they pierced his side, so they put a sword and they pierced his side, and the blood and the water that was inside of him spilled out. Okay? So they pierced the side of Jesus, and then that's when the blood and the water came out of him. He was already dead at that point. He'd already died. So at that point, one of Jesus' friends was given the body of Jesus to take it and bury it. So he wrapped it in something. Let's see. What did he wrap it in? He took linen. It was a cloth. And he wrapped the body of Jesus with it, and he took the body and he laid it in a tomb. Now a tomb was like a grave. Nowadays, if someone dies, they usually dig a hole in the ground and they bury the body. In the olden days, they had like either something underground, like a cave, or a hole that they had carved out, and they had made a tomb. So this here represents kind of a tomb that they placed the body in. So they did that, and they wrapped it in the linen, okay? And so then Pilate, he was afraid because Jesus said he was what? He was going to raise from the dead 3 days after he had died. That's what he had said. He was going to raise from the dead. And so Pilate was worried that Jesus' friends were going to come steal the body and then proclaim that Jesus had risen from the dead. And so Pilate, he ordered his guards to seal the tomb, seal the stone to the tomb so that no one could get in or get out. And then he put guards on either side of the tomb to keep watch over the tomb so that no one would mess with it, all right? And so, we already did the linen one. Okay, so the stone, this is kind of a symbolization of what the stone may have been made of. It was similar to that maybe, as a type of stone. And the guards had it sealed according to Pilate's order, okay? But then, what happened? So, Jesus died on the cross, and he was buried, and he was in the grave, in the tomb, for how many days? 3, that's right, okay, and how many nights? 3, and on the after the third night, what happened? Remember? What is this one? Anybody know what's in this one? Let's see. It's empty. You know why it's empty? Because on the 3rd day, Jesus rose from the grave, and he rose from the grave, and it says the angel, because the Mary and the other ladies came to the tomb, and they were going to come, and the stone had been rolled away, and the tomb was empty. And the angel, there was an angel there. The guards were down, and the angel was there, and the angel said to the women, and that's in Matthew 25, verses 5. Let's see what happened. It says, 28 verse 5. It says, and the angel answered them, and that's the women, and said unto the women, fear ye not, for I know ye seek Jesus, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen. And he said, come see the place where the Lord lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There ye shall see him. And lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run and bring his disciples the word. So they went into the tomb, and they saw that it was empty. Jesus wasn't there anymore. Where was Jesus? What happened? Jesus rose from the dead, and he went to heaven to be with his Father. And that's where he is today. He's alive today in heaven. And we're going to talk about some more about Jesus and his love for us and what he did for us when we go over the Bible verse here in just a few minutes, okay? Stay tuned.